Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard. If you are brand new, welcome back if you're not. And welcome home if that sits well for you. Sorry we didn't get a video in last week. My house is recovering from a virus, as am I. So if we have to take some breaks during this, you'll understand. Let's get into the astrology and messaging for this week. This week being the 25th of September through the 1st of October. So let's get right into it. This week starts off with an Aquarius moon. The first aspect that we witness is Mercury in Virgo, trining Jupiter in Taurus, and then the Aquarius moon squares Jupiter, which is of course retrograde, and then quincunxes Mercury. So it is kind of a big talking, big thinking versus what you're big doing though, right? So there's a lot of up above action and maybe a challenge to the actual getting shit done, right? Which is always exciting. You might find that your due diligence has left a hole or two in the blueprints, though. So be really ready and make it a check, triple check kind of day, if you have to, right? But don't make a move until you've fact checked and supply checked to make sure that you have the resources to back up what you're talking. The possibility that your mouth is writing checks your manifestations can't catch. It might show up and it might spiral. So just be sure before you hit the gas. On Tuesday, the 26th of September, that Aquarius moon is going to trine sextile Chiron, trine Mars in Leo, and then oppose Venus, which is in Leo. Mars in Libra, and oppose Venus in Leo. See, my brain is still not all the way. And then we're going to square Uranus. And then in the evening, the moon will move into Pisces. And that Pisces moon is going to conjunct Saturn, which is, of course, still retrograding. So here's the deal. Your sense of individuality and personal freedom, it might be, or it might feel challenged, right, on Tuesday in ways or places that usually give you comfort. So if you experience resistance in your lean in, you can choose to take a breath, right? It's okay to feel how you feel. Make sure that you're doing your work, right? Just make sure that you're doing your work. On Wednesday, the 27th of September, which by the way happens to be my birthday, the Pisces moon will quincunx the sun in Libra, and then Mercury will quincunx Chiron. And then that moon later in the evening is going to sextile Jupiter. So you want to dive in and rebalance. But Wednesday is probably not going to be your day. And that's okay. If you're choosing your focus, don't hesitate to remind yourself that it's okay to choose you, right? And any misalignments, whether they're real or perceived, get to be claimed and addressed. Both, right? Your first obligation is to your own heart and your own soul. Remember that. Your self-relationship is your bedrock, and everything follows from that. I will say on Wednesday, make it a point to mind your mouth. This is one of those days where what you speak may come back to haunt you. So just choose your words with care. On Thursday, the 28th, that Pisces moon is very busy. We have a quincunx to Venus and Mars. We have a sextile to Uranus and Pluto, and a conjunction to Neptune before the moon moves into Aries in the evening. So Thursday, the 28th, is a day of big breaths, right? Feelings get lighter as we're better able to rock and roll with the currents. And what I mean by that is not that the currents get easier to navigate, but that our navigation is more grounded, right? We are more We are more founded in our, wow, this is a lot of cups, y'all. Do you see this? It's a lot. Anyway, we are more founded, right? Our energy and our auras are more grounded, more stable, right? And so that gives us a greater capacity for emotional clarity. So the depths, right, the rocking is less fearful. You might surprise yourself with your powers of observation and your ability to manage within the intensity or the waves. Pat yourself on the back, right? You're doing a great job. Remind yourself of that as often as you need to. Friday, the 29th of September, is a full moon, 4:58 a.m. Central Time. And that is the Aries moon, right, in opposition to the sun, the Libra sun. And this full moon happens at 6 degrees of Aries. So pay attention to your own natal chart. If you have planets in the cardinal signs, pay attention. Pay attention. You will feel this full moon a little more deeply. So that would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, right? And then Venus squares Uranus later in the afternoon. So that full moon might have you struggling against your relationship bonds and the comfort zones of your relationships. The question is, can you find freedom and independence within your relationships? Can you give those same allowances to those with whom you are in relationship, right? So the thing is, balance, not confinement, is the goal, and it's got to work both ways, right? It can't just be your balance or their confinement. That's not how it works. So mind your feelings, and the feelings of those around you, especially of those you love. Remind yourself that relationship is most often about how you are in as love, right? It's not necessarily about being in love, but it's how you love yourself enough, right, to manage a healthy relationship. Just pay attention. On Saturday, the 30th, that Aries moon is going to conjunct Chiron, oppose Mars, quincunx Mercury, trine Venus, and then Mercury will trine Uranus. The moon will square Pluto, and then the moon moves into Taurus. How exciting. Not long after that, that moon in Taurus is going to sextile Saturn, which is in retrograde, and Mars in Libra will quincunx Uranus. So Saturday might be a day of flares and sparks and the grinding of expansion and contraction, right? That's never a very easy place, and there might be a lot of friction. So save yourself some time and some exploration, right? Be clear, be vulnerable, be authentic, right? From the get-go, right? From the very start. So be intentional about that. It's kind of important. Don't leave any room for misinterpretation or for misunderstanding. And then there can't be any, right? If you're clear from the outset, that possibility of misinterpretation or misunderstanding just vanishes. And especially with that Aries moon running your heart's show, make sure that you're staving off drama, right? And make sure that you're cutting off hurt feelings at the past, Aries in moon in Aries energy can kind of feel like it can feel very blurty. It can feel very unaware in its echo, right? So just pay attention and fall back to deep communication at the outset, right? so that you don't have to come back and excuse yourself later or explain yourself later, so that there's not an argument later, right? So set your course for home, and what we mean by that, of course, what we mean by that is what does home feel like, smell like, taste like, sound like for you, right? And so if you can set that as your guiding light, and you let every path lead through the center and don't give in to that stubbornness, if you're staying in your heart space, if you're staying focused on the long-term goals, then you never have to come back and reassess, right? So just be clear. Just be clear. Very simple. Sounds simple, right? But again, forewarned is forearmed. So if you know, you know. On Sunday, the 1st, that Taurus moon is going to quincunx the sun. And then that Taurus moon is going to conjunct retrograding Venus. Retrograding Jupiter. Stay grounded, and maybe stay in bed a little bit longer than you normally would. Let your sensual experience, again, what we see, what we taste, what we smell, let that sensual experience guide you. And you don't have to push it. You don't have to push it. You just have to be as the experience, right? As the amplification of your own experience. Speak, express your heart, and make sure that you stay in awareness of that messaging with your heart, because not only is it what you hear, but also what you express. It might delight you in ways that you did not expect. So just pay attention. Let's talk. So on Monday, we've got the Five of Pentacles and the Star. So Five of Pentacles this is a really interesting pairing, by the way. So Five of Pentacles is about the ways or things that you may feel like you're missing. What you might feel like you're lacking, right? Where you might be in scarcity. And if that's the case, it feels like this again is that day of big talking, big doing, right? But you also have the Star here. This is a card of wish fulfillment. And so this says to you, what exactly do you believe that you're missing, right? Are you missing it, or is it just your imagination? We talked about check, and triple check, right? Because in fact, you probably have whatever it is that you're looking for. You just might be lacking the concept of it, or be kind of in that space where you have been told that you're missing a thing, or that you need a thing, perhaps that you don't even need, right? So we talked about making sure that you fact-checked and supply-checked. In fact, you probably have that in your cosmic storehouse anyway. So make sure that you've taken inventory for what you're looking for. Make sure that you understand what it is that you want, that you need, that you require, and make sure that you understand the difference before you hit the gas on Monday. Yeah, just do that check, triple check. Make sure that your math is on, because you might think that you're missing something that you're not actually missing. So just take stock. On Tuesday, we've got the Hanged Man and the Ace of Pentacles. The Hanged Man is about shifting perspective. This is about finding a new way to look at a situation, or finding a place where you're actually trusting divine timing as opposed to trying to assert your own timing or your own timeline. The Ace of Pentacles is handing you something, right? This is where we are given something, and this is earth energy here in this instance. So this is an actual thing, or a value, or something that is worthwhile for you. And we talk about this as how your freedom or individuality may be feeling challenged today, and the way that you're going to choose to take that breath, right? And really understand that as long as you're doing the work, you have, again, all that is needed, right? Just paying attention to what it is that you require, to your timing, to your needs, and understanding that your sense of value and worth is all yours. And that sense of individuality, that sense of freedom, no one can give those things to you, right? Those are things that you have to claim, again, for yourself, in your sense of value, in your sense of worth, in what you have or don't have, right? So, on Wednesday, you've got the 7 of Cups and the Strength card. 7 of Cups is all about options. This is all about not being overwhelmed by what is presented to you or what is presenting. And Strength gives you the option to be grounded and to witness all of those options and then choose what is in your own highest good, right? What is for you, right, is always going to be for you. Utilizing that sense of courage to maybe select the thing that feels like, okay, right? We've talked about this as the day where we want to make sure that it's okay to choose you, right? Maybe you're not choosing anything. Maybe you're not going to choose anything out in the world. Maybe your choice is within. Maybe your choice is within yourself. And guess what? That's okay. That is your first and foremost obligation. This self relationship is always primary. This is your bedrock. This is your most fundamental place of choice, right? Nothing you choose outside of you is even, I mean, I would say there's an argument to be had whether or not that's even a real thing. So choose with strength. Choose your highest. Choose your best, right? Choose with bravery and valor, even if that means choosing yourself at the exclusion of anything outside of you. We've got the 6 of Cups and the 4 of Swords. We talked about big breaths today and having more capacity to be in your own groundedness, right? So the 6 of Cups is this place of unconditional love, right? This is that place of nostalgia, that place of, let's call it, deep sense of peace, where you are your primary source of joy, right? This is unjaded love, nurturing, kindness, compassion. And then we have the 4 of Swords, which is about how we're able to come back to that place. We're able to get restoration and renewal. And as we talked about, this is a beautiful day for emotional clarity, right? Surprising yourself with your powers of observation, and really patting yourself on the back, right? Sometimes we fall prey to that self-talk that's really ineffective and, let's face it, self-deprecating. But if you really give yourself the gift of reverie, the gift of taking a minute, the gift of reviewing and witnessing yourself or a situation for what it is, you come back to the place of, oh, okay, without the wounds, without the traumas, without the memories, what was that, right? What was I? Who was I then? Take that capacity for clarity, right? Especially after this day where we maybe had a little question about your clarity, right? Just take it for what it is. On Friday, the full moon, we have the 7 of Pentacles, which is about waiting, and the Devil, which is about the way that we choose the 3D, the way that we choose to renew our patterns, the way that we choose to stay in a cycle, whether or not we know that this cycle is for us in the highest or for us in the 3D, right? So we talk about this full moon, this Aries full moon. How are you giving in to your freedom, your independence within your relationships, right? Aries is a very self-driven sign, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, if your self is going to be testing your lessons, right? How have I grown? How have I come beyond my own cycles, my own self-destructive behaviors, my own addictions? how have I done that? I've been in this quiet mode, right? What have I learned? You have to be willing to give those allowances regarding freedom and independence as they relate to growth to those with whom you're in relationship, right? We're talking about balance, not confinement being the goal. Yeah. So if balance is your goal, then it has to work both ways. And sometimes you have to come back to that place of patience, of waiting, of witnessing, right? So that you can navigate away from that old pattern, that old habit. You just have to review, and you have to review it from a place of unattachment, right? This is deep attachment to your 3D structure. So sometimes you have to be willing to witness, oh, I'm feeling triggered. Let me be patient with myself and with those around me. Yeah, you have to afford the same, let's call it grace to those around you, to those with whom you're in relationship, because they're growing as well, right? You can't expect instant shift. You didn't shift instantly. Someone else isn't going to either, right? We teach people how to treat us. We have to allow them room for error, right? Sometimes intention and action don't automatically meet one another. So they have to catch up to you as well. Saturday, the 30th, right? We talked about this is a day of flares and sparks and friction. So we have the 5 of Cups. We have the King of Wands. 5 of Cups is where's your focus? Again, we're talking about shifting into new cycles. The key here is it's okay to learn from the past, right? We just talked about that. It's okay to learn from the past, but you can't focus there, right? You can't. This is about where are you witnessing? Are you witnessing in those 3 spilled cups, right? The perceived failures or losses from the past, or what you believed that you had in the past? Or are you looking at those things that are sitting right in front of you, waiting to become your blessings, right? The King of Wands urges you to be in the present, right? We talked about this as a day of really being clear and authentic when you're having communication, right? Not dragging in old patterns, not dragging in the you never, you always, we never, blah, blah, blah. None of that. No. Stave off the drama, right? Head that stuff off at the past. Fall back into very deep, heart-driven, spirit-led communications. This is the key. Find that home place. And if this is a relationship, you have to have a shared vision of home. It just can't be your vision of home. That's what relationship is all about. How do I meet your feelings of home, right? How do you meet mine? And where is the common ground, right? You can't expect someone just to know that. You have to create it together. That's what relationship is all about. And so if you can not have an expectation, right, but to create it, right, this is the opportunity to create something beautiful from nothing, honestly, from ideas, from visions, from a state of being. On Sunday the 1st, we have the Page of Wands and the 9 of Pentacles. So this is lovely, right? Page of Wands really pulls forward that wand energy, that heart-driven energy, that desire-based energy. And then this is, again, just like we started this week, this is a beautiful card of self-sufficiency, of having what you require, and really allowing your experience to be your guide, right? Speak from your heart and understand that what comes in is probably going to be delightful, right? This is, I've got me, how can you add to that, right? I've got me, how can you add to that? And then not being stuck in the expectation of this is how you have to do it, right? So we have a deep dive week. And this is, I mean, it's true, right? So the fact that we always talk about doing our work in solitary and putting it into action through relationship is a real it's a real thing, especially this week. You definitely want to be involved, especially with this Aries full moon, in you, but also in your relationship. As the sun is in Libra, you're being asked to balance the you-ness with the we-ness, right? And let's have a beautiful conversation about the middle world, our oracle card. I just love this one. So let's read. The middle world is the realm of day-to-day reality and the playground of the living. It is the present moment where everything is happening. Yet the middle world is created by the future, not only the past. And it is the mirror of the invisible realms. When things are right in the middle world, heaven and earth support everything. When they are not right, heaven and earth must be brought into order as well. The middle world shows up when conditions are favorable to your undertaking. Do not hesitate. Move forward as heaven and earth are smiling upon you. The time is right, so be expedient, but mindful of not being reckless, right? We talk about this whole week as the week to be mindful of what you're saying and how you're progressing. The world is your playground, and what would require great effort at any other time can be accomplished with ease right now, right? Absolutely. Do not try to correct in the earth what needs to be corrected in the heavens, right? We understand that the work that we're doing is self-correction. We're not correcting a relationship, we're correcting ourselves in relationship to, right? The resources to support the change or endeavor you're considering are not readily available to you yet, so it's important to ask for help from the invisible realms, from the helpers in the upper world. For now, wait, right? Process what you're doing. Mind your progress, right? This is about hanging in the balance. We want to dive in. We want to rebalance, right? We want to make sure that we're finding those allowances. We're still practicing. We're still getting our footing. Be okay with that. Be okay with that. Always come back to that sense of home. Always be willing to clarify. Always be willing to clarify. That's how we find our balance, right? So make sure that you're practicing, right? Life is practice. So big blessings, guys. I'm glad to be back. Take care. See you next week.